Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I am going to deal with an essay by Francis Bacon of marriage and single life. Francis Bacon was a famous philosopher and also a statesman. He has been often called as the father of empiricism. He has written a number of essays which covers topics drawn from both public and private life, in a wide range of styles from simple to that of epigrammatic. His essays were collected and published under the title Essays or Counsels, Civil and Moral in the year 1625 with 58 essays. But before that, his essays were at first only 10 essays were published, and then a second edition appeared in 1612 with 38 essays. The third edition was published in 1625 under the title Essays or Counsels, Civil and Moral with 58 essays. So let's discuss the essay in detail. Bacon begins his essay like this: He that hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune, for they are impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief. Certainly the best works and of greatest merit for the public have proceeded from the unmarried or childless men, which both in affection and means have married and entoved the public. So in this essay, Bacon discusses the differences between the married life and also the singles life and that of the bachelor life. He talks about the different advantages, various advantages also the disadvantages of marriage and also of bachelor life. He begins by saying that he that hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune, for they are impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief. So Bacon says that marriage impedes, that means marriage obstructs great fortune and luck. A married man, that means a person who has wife and children, it means it impedes great fortune and luck, which means he has a family to take care of, he has a family to raise. He was very much committed towards his family, so he has to take care of his family. And so what is the result? He will not be able to take any risks in his life. He will be unable to take up any enterprise, whether good or bad, noble or wicked. That means he was not at all free to choose what he wished for. That means marriage, according to Bacon considers marriage as a hindrance, an obstacle. A married man cannot do either a mischief or a good thing. He was not free to commit anything, whether it is a virtue or a mischief, because he have to think of his family. Whatever he do will directly affect his family. So he have to think of his family at first, and then only he can do anything. So marriage, one who hath wife and children hath given hostages to fortune. They are considered to be impediments to great enterprises, either of virtue or mischief. Then he supports his argument like this: Certainly the best works and of greatest merit for the public have proceeded from the unmarried or childless men, which both in affection and means have married and entoved the public. That means he says that the finest works which helps the society at a greater scale, the most famous, the finest works which help the society, it will be from surely from unmarried or childless men. So this bachelors, they married the public and endowed their affections and life there too. The best works, the greatest merit, the greatest works which benefited the public will be from an unmarried man or a childless man. Bacon feels that unmarried men are really free to do anything. Married men were actually restricted in some way or other. They have to take care of their family. But unmarried men were actually free and they can do anything according to their own wishes. So the greatest work will be from that of unmarried men or from childless men. Then he says, Yet it were great reason that those that have children should have greatest care of future times, unto which they know they must transmit their dearest pledges. Some there are who, though they led a simple life, yet their thoughts do end with themselves and account future times impertinences. Bacon says, yet it were great reason that those that have children should have greatest care of future times. That means they have to take care of their family, they have to take care of their married men, have to take care of their children. So they have to consider their economic stability as well. They have to take care of their family, and they have to bring about economic stability in their family in order to make the future of their children bright. So they have to think about the future of their children also. So they only think about, their thoughts only revolve around the economic stability of their family. But the bachelors, one who lead a single life, they are less encumbered by such worries. They doesn't have to think about the future of their family. And so married men were actually in some ways they were restricted. And then he says, some there are who, though they lead a single life, yet their thoughts do end with themselves and account future times impertinences. So, different from all those types that have mentioned earlier, there are some others who lead a single life. Even though they lead a single life, their thoughts do end with themselves. That means they didn't care about anyone else. They only think about themselves. Their thoughts only revolved around themselves. They will not think about others or also about the society. Such people are actually lethargic. They were unmotivated, and they are wasting their time and also their energy. They are doing nothing for themselves and for their society. Then he says, nay, there are some other that account wife and children but as bills of charges. Nay more, there are some foolish, rich, covetous men that take a pride in having no children, because they may be thought so much the richer. For perhaps they have heard some talk, such an one is a great rich man, and another accept to it ear, but he hath a great charge of children, as if it were an abatement to his riches. Then he continues to talk about some other people. Nay, there are some other that account wife and children but as bills of charges. Nay more, there are some foolish, rich, covetous men that take a pride in having no children, because they may be thought so much the richer. For perhaps they have heard some talk, such an one is a great rich man, and another accept to it, yea, but he hath a great charge of children, as if it were an abatement to his riches. That means there were certain people who thinks the wife and children are just bills of charges. They consider their wife and children as sources of expenses. So there are some other people, some greedy people who may take pride in having no children. They consider that having no children is a good thing. They think that they are rich due to the absence of youngsters, due to the absence of children. If they have to take care of their children, their money will be spent like that. And so it is good that they have no children. Some people will think like that. So they will think that if they have children, they will lose their wealth in all that way. And so it is better to have no children. So there are such kind of people also, according to Bacon. But the most ordinary cause of a single life is liberty, especially in certain self-pleasing and humorous minds, which are so sensible of every restraint as they will go near to think their girdles and garters to be bonds and shackles. Unmarried men are best friends, best masters, best servants, but not always best subjects, for they are light to run away, and almost all fugitives are of that condition. Bacon says the most important thing of a single life, one who leads a single life, his greatest achievement is that he is free. That is liberty. The most ordinary cause of a single life is liberty. Bacon points out the people. Bacon talks about the people who stay single. They believe that marriage is a kind of restriction. They have to take care of their family. That means they have to take a lot of responsibilities. That means fetters to them. They are restricted in many ways. So they can't lead a free life. Such people, they think their girdles and garters were also like bonds and shackles, obstruction for them. Such people consider marriage as a fetters or restrictions or responsibilities. They believe that single life can give them freeness, liberty. Bacon then says unmarried men are best friends, best masters, best servants, but not always best subjects. He says unmarried man can be best friends, best masters, best servants, but they were not always best subjects. Means they are best friends, best masters, best servants because nothing was there to stop them from doing anything. They can do whatever they like. They will be reliable to their friends. Because they are very much free to do whatever they like. They have ample time for their friends. They have time to spare with their friends, and so they are best friends, best masters, best servants, but they were not always best subjects, for they are light to run away, and almost all fugitives are of that condition. Means they will not take up any responsibilities to themselves. They lead a life without any restrictions, without any obligations, without any responsibilities. So they never will be good subjects. That means they will never take up any risks. They are ready to take up any risks in their life, but they are not responsible persons. They will try to run away from all such responsibilities. Then he says, a single life doth well with churchmen, for charity will hardly water the ground where it must first fill a pool. It is indifferent for judges and magistrates, for if they be facile and corrupt, you shall have a servant 5 times worse than a wife. For soldiers, I find the generals commonly in their hotatives put men in mind of their wives and children, and I think the despising of marriage amongst the Turks maketh the vulgar soldier more base. Bacon then says, for churchmen, it is better to lead a single life. For priests, the best thing is to remain single, because for a churchman, for a priest, charity must be the prior thing for him. He must be careful towards his subjects. He must take care of his people, take care of the society at first. So it is better to remain single for a churchman. If he is a married man, he will only think of his wife and children at first. He will take care of his children at first. He will take care of his family as the prior thing. But it is better for a churchman to remain single. Then only he can take care of his people. That means he can take care of the society. Then he says, for judges and magistrates, there is actually whether it is married or not, it doesn't matter, because he says it is indifferent for judges and magistrates, for if they be facile and corrupt, you shall have a servant 5 times more worse than a wife. So it is because it doesn't make much of difference whether the judge or a magistrate is a single or a married man, because even a wife cannot save him if he is a corrupt man. Okay, there will be if he is a corrupt man, then even his wife couldn't save him. There will be another servant who will be 5 times worse than a wife. Then he says, for soldiers it is better to be married, because when they think of their wife and children, they wanted to return back to their family fastly, and so they will fight with all their confidence and all with their abilities. So these married soldiers, they should always have an urge to go back to their family. So they will fight wholeheartedly to make an end, whether it is a war or anything else. So their aim will be to go back to their family. And so it is better that soldiers be married. But Turkish soldiers, they, according to Bacon, they generally remains unmarried. And so, according to Bacon, they are Turks maketh the vulgar soldier more base. They have no such tender feelings. Certainly, wife and children are a kind of discipline of humanity. And single men, though they may be many times more charitable, because their means are less exhaust, yet on the other side they are more cruel and hard-hearted, good to make severe inquisitors, because their tenderness is not so oft called upon. So Bacon says having a wife and children are a kind of discipline of humanity. That means there will be a moral understanding of their limits and of conduct and behavior. So it's one's wife and children that provide them with a moral understanding, with a discipline in their life. So bachelors lack all these empathetic and sensitive kind of behavior. And somehow there may be vulgar thoughts and cruel intentions or even moral corruption in their behavior. And so marriage, it is a way of establishing a loving home. Then he says, grave natures led by custom and therefore constant are commonly loving husbands, as was said of Ulysses, vetulum suam pratulit immortalitati. He preferred his old wife to immortality. Chaste women are often proud and forward, as presuming upon the merit of their chastity, it is one of the best bonds both of chastity and obedience in the wife, if she think her husband wise, which she will never do if she find him jealous. So here Bacon says that men with morals, men who were led by custom, that means who have ethics and morals, will be good husbands. They are not governed or tempted by any pleasures of infidelity, and they will remain honest. They will be always loyal to their wives and also to the custom of marriage. So here Bacon gives the example of Ulysses. He valued his wife more than an immortal life. He preferred his old wife to immortality. Then also he talk about a woman of chastity. A woman will consider their body as sacred, and they will always remain chaste. They preserve it as their sense of purity. So therefore, according to Bacon, a woman of chastity, she will be proud of her worth, and she will be loyal towards her husband. Such a relationship will be very much strong, and there will be mutual respect in their relationship. So the evil quality of jealousy, if the relationship, in their relationship there will be an evil quality or they will be jealous, then it can weaken that bond, weaken that relationship. Then he says, wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age and old men's nurses. So as a man may have a quarrel to marry when he will, but yet he was reputed one of the wise men that made answer to the question when a man should marry, a young man not yet, an elder man not at all. Then Bacon talks about the different roles of a wife or a woman in a man's life. So wives are young men's mistresses, companions for old age, and old men's nurses. So for a young man, wife is like a lover. She will give him all kinds of pleasures and her love and devotion towards her husband. And then in his middle age, she is like his companion. Whether in good times or in bad times, whether in success or in disasters, wife will be his companion. She will be a constant pillar of strength to him. And when he enters his old age, when he becomes weak, his wife will be like a nurse. He will care him, he will support him all through his old age life. Then Bacon talks about the right time for a man to get married. He suggests that young men should be patient. They will not take a decision in their life very quickly. They have to be patient to take up the right time to get married. So he says, a young man not yet, an elder man not at all. So he says that young men should be patient and not at all be haste in taking decisions. So their marriage, in the in the custom of marriage, there have to be commitment, devotion. And so young men must be patient, and also old men, they must not rush to get a wife. It is often seen that bad husbands have very good wives, whether it be that it raiseth the price of their husband's kindness when it comes, or that the wives take a pride in their patience. But this never fails if the bad husbands were of their own choosing against their friends' consent, for then they will be sure to make good their own folly. Then Bacon says that the bad husbands, the most cruelest men, they will have the noblest and most generous wives. They will have very good wives. Bad husbands have very good wives. So, when in the case of their marriage, the women have to endure a lot of hardships, and they will never be happy in their relationship because their husbands will be very much tyrannical and they will be cruel towards her. Such husbands, such cruel husbands, they do not value their wives. They do not value how great and loving their wives will be. They will never consider their sacrifices or pains, and they will never be devoted towards their wives. So, but instead, this women, they will be very much devoted and committed, and they will try to secure their marriage. But these husbands, they will never value them, and they will never give them the right reputation or the love that they have to get in their lives. Such husbands are really failure. They are failure as a husband and also as a human being. So Bacon advises such people they have to mend their ways. They have to give regard and honor to their wives, because it is their duty to love their wife, to have a responsibility in their life. So in this way, Bacon compare single life, bachelor life, and also married life according to his own views. He talks about the differences, the advantages and disadvantages of married life and also bachelor life. So this is all about of marriage and single life.